Hey Mike, how you
How's it
doing?
going?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Windy
All right,
City.
Windy City and the Pridemore Group, nothing better. And I got to tell you, we have a special guest here today, Mike. So we are with my little guy Luke,
Oh, Luke.
soon to be 12 weeks old. And
Hey, I love it.
yeah, and so we are skilled. We're not only giving Luke a bottle while we wait for mommy to get back from her errand. We are having some fun. I'm really excited to be here doing the live with you guys, and you know think there's some fun things we can certainly talk about with our market. I got a couple questions in advance, though. So you tell me. You want to jump into questions? You want to just talk a little bit, or what's best?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, by the way, I'm hoping Luke has a lightsaber in his near future. So,
He should be having a lightsaber. Maybe sometime in December, he might be receiving not just a lightsaber, but maybe a little Yoda. To be his compass. So, ironically, name of our company as well. But his moral compass. So, and I will say, I
yeah,
have said on a couple of occasions, Luke, I am your father. So there's definitely some fun, Star Wars throwbacks to add as well. So, um,
love it. Love it.
anyways, yeah,
Our youngest son is named Luke as well. And so we're a huge Star Wars fan, as you know. So,
yes.
absolutely excited to talk with you today and excited that we've got some other folks that have joined and waving to us. So, that's awesome. And so Mike Hege with the Pridemore team at Compass. Scott Pridemore is, we're equal team leaders and business partners of the Pridemore team at Compass. And we're excited. We're located in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Joe, for our audience, just share your background as well.
Sure. So, Joe Kotoch, I am the head of the Windy City Agents and Joe Kotoch Group at Compass in Chicago. We not only cover the entire Chicagoland area, but we help our clients with real estate needs in the residential, commercial, and investment realms as well.
Love that. Love that. And are you a native Chicagoan?
I am not. I am actually from Cleveland originally. So, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Moved out to Chicago for undergrad, and ended up winding back here after a stop in Michigan and back in Ohio with law school and the sports world. So it was a long journey, but it ended up kind of where I started, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that don't know about, for both of us, we had professional careers prior to real estate, and now we have a
Mhm.
professional career path in real estate. But I was an ER nurse, which is unique. And Joe,
Yes. So I was a sports agent. So
yep,
a lot of people ask, and I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. I was like Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
I was like, yeah,
Um, yeah, exactly. Not the first time I've heard that. And no, honestly, I think just to sort of talk in a grander scheme, Mike, the
absolutely.
amazing thing about our industry is you can come with a background completely unrelated to real estate, completely unrelated to sales, and you can be successful. It's really, it's about what you proposition as your service, as your value that you offer to your clients. And so, for me, it was an easy transition because, in many ways I was already a skilled negotiator, and now I was just changing from negotiating with MBA ball clubs to people who own and sell homes. And I also need to just give a quick shout out, Mike, before we continue, to Katie Faye 1129, my beautiful wife, who's in here. I think she's not watching so much for us, but she's trying to get a view of Luke just to make sure he's still here in good hands. So,
I
anyways,
love it.
yeah. So, yeah. No,
Yep.
tell me about your experience and how it shaped you with this.
That's a great question. So 17 years. Scott Pridemore, my business partner, 27 years in the business. And so I was looking to transition from ER nursing. I was working nights, and I was looking for, a different path, and started ultimately in investment real estate, and opened the door to residential sales. And along the way, 4 kids and a puppy. Here we are.
God bless you. It's a house full. I get it. We've got 2 kids and 2 dogs, so we're a little bit behind you, but we'll maybe one day catch up to you. I don't know. We'll see. Katie Faye is going to have something to say about that.
I see Katie Faye is logged in. I'm asking my wife if she'll log in too. She's checking on just me in general. I think she's
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm sure you remember the days of the newborns, and it's like,
oh yeah,
particularly, you, even though you've helped make the baby, and obviously your paternal instincts are always there. Moms generally feel like your skills are in question, right? Like, I think I know how to do. I think I know how to make a bottle. I think I know how to change a diaper. I promise I won't start a fire, and I'll make sure the doors are locked. All the good things that I think we're used to getting, right?
absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. And when we met in New York a couple months ago, we were so thankful, Scott and I, to meet. And I just remember that moment, talking about each other's markets, and just saying, listen, we're going to keep in contact. And this is one of the ways we wanted to do that, was to talk about each other's market a little bit about each other's
Yep.
story. And just to know that part of the Compass framework and family is that we have phenomenal agents in other markets that we have as resources to learn about their market, to refer clients, and just to have that as part of the greater family. So I love that we're doing this today and kind of crossing each other's markets, because Chicago to here, I feel like there's a lot of synergy between the 2 cities.
100% agreed with you, and I mean that's been the amazing thing. I've been with Compass for 3.5 going on 4 years now, and from my perspective, people a lot of times ask me how a brokerage matters. Why Compass? Why whatever, and to some extent in our industry, it's relationship driven, right? It's the
Absolutely.
agent. People choose to work with you. They don't necessarily choose to say, hey, I'm working with Compass, but I don't have an agent. I think having Compass as your as your background, as your brokerage that supports you, I think is just another layer of value that you can show and add. I mean, having national networks of agents from the Atlantic to the Pacific and everywhere in between just gives you so much of an advantage, I think, when you're talking to people. And it's often underestimated or overlooked, which is when you're selling a luxury home, there's a chance you might find a buyer in another market. With the way buying trends are going right now, people are buying multiple homes, and so having that network of people that might might have someone out in California but looking to acquire real estate for a second or a third home, or having it for an investment purpose, it's so important. And the other amazing thing about Compass, to my experience, is every agent I've ever met from Compass is a good person. There's not, shockingly, real estate doesn't have a bunch of good people. There are some great people, and there are some not some great people. And everybody at Compass believes and adheres to that culture, which has made it just so amazing. I think so. I mean, that's my experience. What's been yours, since you guys are a little newer to Compass?
We are newer, yeah. 3.5 years. You're like the veteran agent at this point. You're a veteran in general, but seasoned with Compass. We came on May 3rd. Prior to May 3rd, there was not a presence of Compass in Charlotte, and we were an independent boutique brokerage with 40 agents, and created a team within Compass to start our journey with Compass a few months ago. And since that moment, we have met some of those talented professionals in our industry. And one of the things we just kind of hold on to is, when Compass comes into a market, to us, it seems that we're cherry picking the best from all different agencies, bringing that together, as long as they're good people, match culturally. have the intent to grow and collaborating without ego. And ultimately, the principles just so aligned with what we were doing from years ago, who we are at Center, and just that kind of synergy. And this is evident by today, Joe. We're on this call today because, man, we're a lot alike. We have a lot of things in energy and sharing, and that's what this is really about is the growth journey and doing this thing together. So we're just so thankful that we could do that. And Compass has been very refreshing, and it's such an innovative company. Just seems like evolving every day, getting a little bit better.
Well, and you know, I'll go one step further, and you know, with my background, you know, in sports, I'm a big proponent of coaching, and you know, I know with you guys, with you know, having an agency, you know, development is such an important thing, particularly with agents on your team. And you know, the other thing that you find, particularly as you gain experience in this industry, is you know, the top agents invest in themselves and invest in their business in a way where they hold themselves accountable through coaching, you know, and we happen to actually have a lot of overlap because we don't just work for the same company. We also coach with the same people, right? So that was such a shock when I first met you guys, and it was like, oh wait, you know, here we are, never met before, and we hit it off, but we're also like same coaches and everything else. So tell me a little bit about how you guys got involved in coaching.
Oh, that is a great question. We were with a different coaching organization for some time, and we were looking for something fresh, innovative, and constantly learning. There's so much value in being coached and having the right people in your corner. And as we're developing a team, we had been developing our team, but in the brokerage sense of the word, not as a true functioning unit in the sense of a team. And so we've shifted that, and we decided we jumped all in with elite coaching with Tom Ferry initially. And as we developed the team several months ago, we said we really need to reframe our minds from operating from the way we used to growing forward and taking this to a whole nother level as a team. And so Team Plus, at the same time we joined Compass, we decided to upgrade our coaching experience to what's crazy, Joe, that we have the same coach. And this is a shout out to Coach Jeff Mays.
The
man, he is awesome.
He is a rock star. And for those of you that don't know, so Tom Ferry, I think, you know, the best in the business when it comes to coaching, and Jeff Mays is one of his primary coaches. You know, he runs Sales Edge, Operations Edge. And, you know, he's constantly, you know, helping lead on podcasts. And, you know, the amazing thing for me, just like with you, you know, you don't just get to join coaching and say, hey, this is who I want to work with. You do all sorts of evaluations. They, you know, sort of, you know, figure out who's the best fit for you. And I'll tell you, you know, I've been coaching. I just celebrated my 5-year anniversary with Jeff. I've been coaching for 5 years. And when I was a newer agent, inexperienced, and not very successful, you know, I got Jeff Mays. And the reality is, you walk into the summit and places like that, and people ask you, "Who's your coach?" And when you say Jeff Mays, there's kind of like a, "Oh my gosh, wow, he's awesome," and he is. He's great. He's unbelievable. And I feel like I had the lottery ticket the day I got assigned Jeff Mays, and that was from day one. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time we've come out coaching, is we come out learning something we didn't know before, and come out with a swift kick in the pants that we needed. So,
absolutely, and there we go. We're getting ready to shift into a little burp mode here for a minute. So, true Instagram Live minutes.
Hey, it's Instagram Live is awesome because it's just real. I think that's what social is. It's like we're both like, we're busy professionals, we're fathers, we have a lot of things going on, but the one thing our intent is to grow and get a little better each day in every department. Right? And I mean, I love what you're doing right now, by the way, with your 30-day lives. You inspired me. I'm on day 26 today, so you'll be looking for that content a little bit later. And, so like, what keeps driving Joe Kotoch forward?
Oh, sorry there. I was shifting, Luke. What keeps driving me? Well, first of all, I'm just going to give you a quick forewarning. Like, when you hit day 30, it feels a little different when you're not doing it. And so it feels a little unnatural because you've been doing it for so long. you're going to kind of say to yourself, what am I going to do now? How am I going to make this work? And so, what drives me though is over the last 30 days, I found that for me, a lot of people were responding and following my content. And so I really realized for what we were doing, it was a way to connect to people in a way that I wasn't connecting before. And so I just love the personal relationship of real estate. Like, to me, I meet people, whether they're through Zillow, whether they're calling me off of a sign. I don't know them a lot of times. I just get to meet them for the first time, and you know what? I immediately connect to them. We become friends. We become it's not just a transactional relationship for me, I guess, and that's the important thing for me. I think there's a connotation in this industry that hey, it's a one-off transaction. We're just in it for the commission, and it's not. I mean, the agents that love what they do, the agents that make real careers out of this, the ones that last and succeed, are the ones that say to themselves, "This isn't a transaction. This is a relationship, and this relationship may result in multiple transactions." And I'm just here to get the best outcome for my clients. Sometimes we leave money on the table. Sometimes we do something that doesn't. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, we got Dog Walker. This is Instagram Live. At its finest. Sorry here, Mike. Bear
all
with me
good,
for
man.
1 second.
Hey, it's good, man.
And for those of you also wondering, this is Nike right here.
Nike.
This is Windy City PWD on Instagram. Nike and Neptune.
He is cute.
Yeah, our puppies, and Nike's about to go for a nice little walk outside. So we're gonna have some fun there, and we're gonna just go ahead and hand her off. 1 second, Lizzie. There you go. Thank you. No. Thank you. All right. So this is Joe Kotoch, trying to survive on a Friday morning in real estate when Luke's mom is out on an errand. So, anyways, hopefully Katie Faye is approving of things still, but no. But going back to it, I mean that's just how I am, and I guess what drives you guys. I mean, you're part of you came from a brokerage, so. I think your perspective might be slightly different. I've never owned a brokerage. I've never been a managing broker. I've started as a solo agent and built a team. What drives you guys?
Gosh, you know what? I think that mantra of just never staying in the same and more of the same. We've always pushed ourselves to be outside the comfort zone. And so operating as a brokerage, there was a lot of agents that were doing their own thing at any given time. We certainly had culture, team building, if you will, but not really operating, as we mentioned, like as a true team, like as a core unit. And so we had to reframe that conversation. And so for us, it's like we're, literally, Scott, almost like 27 years and me 17 years. So like what drives us forward are the books that we read that inspire us, the people stories that we're around that motivate us, and the culture of excellence of like, wow, there's so much more to learn and grow and get better at, and just waking up with that perspective every day of like the work's not finished yet. You know what I mean? It's like, and like this next week, we're so fortunate we have some phenomenal people in our joining our team, Joe, that are coming on board next week, and we're so excited about it. And their energy and this vibrancy and like magnetism for bringing the right people, like you can't replicate that kind of feeling. It's like this, it's euphoric in the sense of like it's new energy. It's like so much more to onboard and learn. And, that new dynamic with phenomenal team members we have in a culture in our team already, and mixing that together. And next week we have a luncheon for them. And so like what drives us forward is that idea of constant and never-ending improvement. The work is not finished.
No, that's amazing. And you guys, I mean, look, I've seen it, from a peripheral. I mean, I know you and I know Scott and I know how great of team leaders you are, but I mean, you guys have a great culture. I mean, I see it, one of the things you can always tell in real estate is you look at, groups and you can kind of tell even from the pictures, who's got good culture, who's got, a close team. And you see it with you guys because, it's not just, again, a transactional relationship, even within the team structure, right? It's not just simply about, hey, do the deal and move on. You guys have a great culture, great fits, and, adding 2 new agents. I mean, I can't imagine if I was in Charlotte, a better team to join because, you guys are just doing some great things and, obviously a proven track record and all that good stuff. So I think that's amazing. Mike, I got to ask you though. So I told you I had a few questions I got submitted online. I want to throw these out here. And so if it's good, why don't we start, with you, give the Charlotte answer and I'll give the Chicago answer. Does that sound fair?
Love it. Hey,
Okay.
this or that. Love it.
That's right. That's right. So I got a question. It was, how do you feel about Airbnb investments right now?
I love them in predominantly non-HOA communities.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I love them in, I think there's definitely a profit margin that could, you could have better cash flow returns on an Airbnb property, for example, around the lake or really in high desired areas in our market. In Charlotte, I think if you're in a regular subdivision without that kind of outside influence, like if you're in the burbs, you're 40 minutes from the core of the city, you're not near the lake, it's more rural. Like, I don't think that'd be the right fit for an Airbnb model. But for an in-town, vibrant, walkable, like around a lot of energy and excitement, obviously people are willing to pay. And from the hotel experience, compared to an Airbnb experience, you can shop around for a private home, have a room, or preferably the whole darn house, and enjoy what a city has to offer. I think it's an innovative situation similar to Uber. They don't own the cars. Airbnb is a phenomenal service for people, and gosh, I don't see it slowing down. Do you? How about your market? Let me toss that over. How is Chicago with Airbnb?
Well, so I think, in Chicago, we have a fairly diverse housing stock. So, I mean, like you said, I don't think Airbnb works in condominium associations. I think those homeowner associations here in Chicago largely outlaw or restrict your ability to do Airbnb. And even then, the high HOAs and taxes become a little, difficult to make it a financially feasible, like the filter there.
I didn't know that's what that did.
Yeah, there you go. And then, so I will tell you, so not only do I sell investments, I actually invest. And so one of my earliest investments was actually in Airbnb. I did do some condo Airbnb. This was at a time before the curve, so it was a little easier and there were fewer restrictions. Now it's pretty challenging. In Chicago, you have to have a permit or a license to do Airbnb. And so, there's all sorts of regulations. It's just, to me, if you want to invest, I almost feel like you're better off investing in an apartment building or some sort of an investment property where you can just work directly with a tenant. And the reason I say that is, I deal with a lot of property, multi-family buildings where people are selling Airbnb units and they're trying to put the rents out as, the income, as if that's a normal income. And of course there's surcharges, but what you don't realize a lot of times is you're getting a premium in terms of rental income, but you're also getting a premium in terms of management fees. So if you work with a management company that handles cleaning and all that other stuff, you're oftentimes giving up 20 or maybe sometimes 30% of your rent in some cases, because there's such a high volume of cleaning and maintenance that has to be done when the units are turned over, etc. So I'm not a huge fan of it today. And I think, when you look at the pricing has to, you have to understand that when you buy an Airbnb product, you're also paying a premium for it, right? So now you're buying it at a premium rental price, and just to maintain the cash flow, you have to keep getting that number. So it's not my favorite cup of tea. I think there's better investments. So that's at least the Chicago version for me.
No, I love that. I love that you come from an investment mindset. My wife and I, we do invest. Scott invest as well, and we're currently building, several projects and part of a group that's building these. And we had the option. We looked at that model, that forecast of an Airbnb, as opposed to traditional rental. And I think the transitory nature of Airbnb, when if it's a one-off build versus a group of townhomes and kind of doing the entire model, like, I don't know what that dynamic would look like when you have an entire kind of area, if you will, that's doing that, where people are in and out. So we just opted to keep it as a traditional buy and hold long-term rental play. I like that. I like that better as well. I think it's just more in the known, and there's a lot of things you got to keep up with Airbnb. So
absolutely, you're going to see a quick handoff here. Katie Faye made it in to the house. I'm going to put her on camera for just a quick second.
No problem.
And there's my beautiful wife, Katie Faye. Say hello, Katie.
Hello.
How's it going? I'm digging the Cubs hat.
That's right. She's actually from Detroit, though, so she's not a true Cubs fan. She's a transplant.
Well, I'm from Ann Arbor.
That's right. Oh, she's from Ann Arbor. Apologies. She's a Tigers fan. She wants to make that distinction. We are a house divided, though, Ohio State and Michigan. So it does present some challenges. She did go to Purdue as well, so she's a double Buckeye hater. So all right. So Mike, you mentioned something really, really interesting me, and I want to explore this. So you and your wife also invest. What sort of investments are you guys doing, and what's yielding the best returns right now in Charlotte?
Right now, the best returns, we started with buy and hold multifamily, small duplexes. So I like that from a value add perspective, where you're buying with low rents, at least it's rentable because it's being rented. But maybe the HVAC hasn't been installed. It has window units, that'd be an area where we can provide an upgrade. The countertops are old and we can replace those. So mostly cosmetic, nothing structural or major, but we're looking for value add projects. And that's kind of how we really were focused, is low rents that we can go in. And if one tenant moves out, we have the other side we can rent, and then we can increase the rents over time. And so far that's been a really solid, strategy that we've invested in. We did try our hand at land and just buying into land. This is years and years ago. We bought some land, and the land, we're building on that land now, and it definitely had hair on it. So that's the reason we got it at a great price.
Yeah.
One thing about land is there's no cash flow really in land unless you have large acres and you get, tree money from, farming or taking down trees in large tracts. So, but building on the land, I think was, smart. We had to do a lot of things with engineering. And so the best value return that we've seen is buying and building on that land. So we work with a local lender that allowed the appreciable gain in that land to cover the cost of a projected appraisal amount. So we were able to, buy the land for, really pennies, many years ago. And after a year, that appreciation of the land, if buying it right, we're able to utilize that for the down payment, if you will, for the construction project. So basically we're not out of pocket at all. And then the goal is we're probably going to use a BRRRR method on that because it's at a higher interest rate with a construction loan, and then BRRRR out and then, do it again. So we're looking for other projects to invest in. I just think the rate of return because we're keeping it and we're not touching it, it's not a 1031. We're allowing that to roll into interest to one to the next. I think that what I've seen is, returns of 20% or higher. It's really good returns. So,
no, absolutely. That's great. And for those of you watching that don't know the BRRRR method, it's buy, rehab, rent, refi, and repeat. So it's a good philosophy to incorporate. But I think we need to throw out this disclaimer. Mike and I are real estate professionals, so we have a certain advantage when it comes to identifying land, understanding the market analysis, and it's not every land deal immediately cash flows. Not every opportunity is a great investment. I know in my market, and I'm sure in yours, in fact, it's actually, there's a lot of bad deals out there right now. There's a lot of people that have overvalued their land, their product, their building, whatever, and people have a mentality that, well, so and so next door sold for $500,000, so my home is worth 550. Well, there's a variety of things from square footage to rehab to curb appeal to whatever you want to look at that goes into that sort of stuff. And in Chicago, I guess I could say I have some advantage, which is we have fairly uniform land, so we don't really get a whole lot of cookie cutter, or we don't get a whole lot of things that aren't cookie cutter, right? So Chicago standard lots are 25 feet wide by 125 deep. Now that's going to sound extremely small to you and anyone from Charlotte, but in Chicago that's standard. And an oversized lot could be 30 feet wide by 130 feet deep. And so what's unique about it, though, is there's not a lot of issues generally with soil, right? We don't have issues building or excavating. We don't have issues with as much issue with zoning, right? Because we have something we can do by right on the land the minute we buy it. And if we want to change the zoning, we have to go through a zoning process. But it's not as though we have a community that's overlooking and kind of trying to impact or slow down the ability to build in a way that you want. So you have things you can do there. So that tied into that, I do invest a lot this year. I've closed on 6 properties already, and just put another one under contract and working on a few more. And so my mentality with investing is we do, for the most part this year, we've done value add multifamilies. That's my bread and butter. It's where we like to be. Chicago is a rent-heavy city. It's actually, I believe, the most rent-heavy city in America right now, which works to our benefit. And so what we're able to do is we're able to go in, identify a property, and then my team that I partner with, I have a partner who's a licensed general contractor, so I've built in cost control there and the know-how and the skill set. And then we have another partner who's primarily operations in terms of the accounting, the management, and the day-to-day stuff. So I'm kind of focused in my lane of identifying the property, and so it works quite well. We found one building this year, and I understand every market's different, so this might sound like a lot or a little, but we found a 6-unit building earlier this year for $715,000. And in Chicago, that's a great deal. We bought this in the Ukrainian Village, which is close to downtown. And so we're actually building it out. We completely demoed the inside, and we have our permits. We're actually building 8 units. So we're going back in and creating 8 units that are going to be all rental apartments. We're going to cash flow that building, and on the refi, we actually should make several $100,000 that we can pull out and fund another project in the future. So we're really excited about that one. And then we've shifted a little bit because the deals are harder to find right now on value add. There's less inventory. Numbers don't make quite as much sense, and so we're actually doing more new construction projects right now. So we've acquired our last 2 projects have been land, and so we're working to push a pipeline of new construction product that we can also do primarily as condos. So we build as condos, we sell the condos then individually and kind of go from there. So
that's awesome. Are there it sounds like you have a wide array of different housing options. There's not co-ops in Chicago, are there?
There are. So Chicago again has a little bit of everything from mixed use to multifamily to single family homes to co-ops and condos. So you can go down a street in Chicago and find a little bit of everything. Co-ops are less popular. Like co-ops are really famous in New York. That's where they're really predominant. Chicago's more of a condominium city than a co-op city, and so the big thing I would say, for Chicago, we generally find that fewer buyers want to buy in co-ops because they're much stricter in terms of the interview process, the financial requirements of people buying in. And so it's definitely a little more daunting, whereas condos are much, much easier to buy into. And generally speaking, you get a little more bang for your buck. It's just the co-ops usually are better, better reserves and are better finances. How's it in Charlotte?
I think there's maybe 2 buildings that are co-ops that are from like the 60s.
Yeah.
And they're probably started by a New York developer, if I had to take a guess.
Probably. Right.
Probably. I see it a very important question that someone has posted that I feel like we gotta ask. So, which Chicago pizza is the best, Joe?
Oh gosh. Well, again, full disclosure, I'm not a Chicagoan, native Chicagoan, so I am not a deep dish connoisseur. I personally like Neapolitan pizza. So there's a place called Coal Fire that it does great pizza. That's where I probably would go. If you're looking for deep dish, and when we have friends or family that come into town, there's a place called Pequod's Pizza in Lincoln Park. Very popular.
Yeah.
A lot of people love Pequod's. They also do thin crust as well, but the deep dish is, I think, what they're really known for. But in the deep dish pizza wars, you've got Giordano's, you've got Lou Malnati's. Those are probably the 2 most famous. Gino's East is very popular as well. So, do you have a horse in the race?
I think Illuminati's would probably get my my vote. Tammy, my wife, used to live in Lincoln Park, and before she relocated to Charlotte, I told her she got lucky and got a Southern boy. So it's
yeah.
But she when we went back to visit and going to conferences and such, Illuminati's probably gets my vote. I see Tammy typing in here in the chat. So apparently I am being monitored here, just so you know.
There you go. Well, like good wives that we have, they're always making sure we don't say or do anything that doesn't work. So, all right. So you like the deep dish, it sounds like. What is the pizza of style? There's not a Charlotte style pizza, I assume.
That's we don't have a Charlotte style pizza, but we should, actually.
I think everybody should. I mean, I think nowadays with branding and social media, everybody can create their own version of whatever they want. I mean, Detroit style pizza became a thing, I feel like, in the last 5 or 6 years. And, I never thought of, Little Caesars or Jets Pizza as Detroit style. And then I come to find out it's like this whole fad now. So I don't know. I mean, if you had to guess, or if I'm making you the ambassador of Charlotte, you get to create the Charlotte style pizza. What is the Charlotte style pizza?
The Charlotte style pizza, I feel like we'd have to have a little Southern flair in it. So I feel like that involves a little bit of hot sauce.
Okay.
I feel like that would have a little bit in the mix. So I'm imagining a pretty good Primavera, really good, sauce is the base. I think it starts with the crust. And, Charlotte doesn't have that New York water or that Chicago and deep dish. So we're going to have to rely on, we'll call it a wellspring crust. And we'll put a Primavera that's got a little, hot sauce zinger. And then I think we're probably going to build it out on, unfortunately, the Meat Lovers is probably the prevailing, topping of choice. But we can provide a vegan option, gluten-free, make it the best in the state, and then kind of spread that nationwide. I have a vision for this, Joe. We can go on the road right now with a Tabasco-infused sauce.
Your kitchen, no reason that can't be a test kitchen to create the Charlotte style pizza. In fact, I think we should hashtag Charlotte style pizza and really get America to weigh in on this. I like that idea. So okay,
I
so
like it.
it sounds like pizza. There's no clear pizza at the moment. What is the or I keep saying Chicago. What is the Charlotte signature food?
Wow, that is a great question. I would say in the South in general, like you can't point to like you'd say New Orleans is like jambalaya, or you'd
Sure.
say Charleston would be like a shrimp and grits. You know, I mean, there's some phenomenal food options. Certainly, there's a lot of foodies that are in Charlotte, as there are in many places, and you can get a lot of different food options here from faux ginseng Vietnamese to Indian cuisine to true Tex-Mex. I mean, you can get a lot of different varieties. So I don't know if Charlotte is really a melting pot. Being a native here, I grew up in where most of the outer rim of Charlotte were farms and
Mhm.
lots of, land. So I kind of grew up on meat and potatoes. And
Okay.
that's just kind of that southern dish. I would say we're probably best known. Like we just came back from Nashville, and I have to say, I thought we were known for fried chicken here until I had the Nashville fried chicken, and then I realized, well, we can't really be known for that anymore after you've had
Yeah.
that
Yeah. No, for
Nashville
sure.
hot chicken. So I would say that Charlotte, but I think we're probably better known for beer. Actually, we
Okay.
have so many breweries throughout the great state, and in Charlotte particularly. I mean, I could probably rattle off 50 or 100 or so that are all around the city. But if I had to give one, my wife has reminded me in the chat, which is always good because you need your wife to bail you out. We're
Right.
probably known for barbecue the best.
I was
That's
about to
what
I was about to
that's
chime
our
in with
number
barbecue.
one. Our number one thing that we're known for, not fried chicken, not shrimp
Yeah.
and grits. Maybe the hot sauce pizza could win, but barbecue.
Well,
Thank you, honey.
I was gonna say, Mike. I know, and not that I'm an expert of this, but I know there's a Carolina style barbecue sauce, which I assume
There
is in
is.
North Carolina, not South Carolina, right?
No, South Carolina is very different.
Okay.
We prefer to be the prevailing state of the
That-
Carolinas, but
right. So I always assumed that was North Carolina barbecue sauce, but so you guys like to sauce your barbecue. Texas style is more just like rub, right? So what is it? Is it more like a pulled pork? Is it ribbed? What would you say in the barbecue?
well, let me get the salvation real quick. Hold on. Okay, I think
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. I'm wiping my mouth too. I'm like,
kind of hungry for lunch now. Um, I would say that there are some great like honey mustard
mhm.
sauces. That would be one route, and then the other route would be like a honey zinger, like a honey barbecue
Okay,
sauce. And so like some are kind of cooked with, and then an ancillary sauce on the side. Ribs certainly are a big portion. So pulled pork would probably be what you would think of in general.
okay,
And then you'd shortly thereafter, you'd think of like a really soft falling off the bone ribs. Those
nice.
would be probably the top. I am really hungry now, Joe.
Yeah,
That
I know.
you
By the way,
mentioned.
two guys, who eat meat, talking on a Friday afternoon, right around lunchtime, couldn't be a better scenario, right? Like, hey,
Exactly.
maybe we can turn this into a regular Friday thing, like dudes who eat, and we could
Dudes
just
who
talk,
eat.
yeah, and
It's
maybe
just talk
maybe
food.
that's right, and we could just go to like signature restaurants in Charlotte and Chicago and just eat on Instagram Live and let the audience watch us. I mean, look, I will do whatever for my audience, so I'm sure you would be willing to go out to eat for lunch, for your audience as well.
Absolutely. In fact, next Friday we should make that a thing. So we'll pick the best barbecue joint in Charlotte, and you
I'll pick a
pick the
barbecue
best.
joint in Chicago if you want. We can do.
Yeah.
How about we do that next Friday? If you're up for it, I'm up for it. Let's do rival barbecue, and I'll pick one of our barbecue spots here, and we can go from there.
I love that. And we're getting some thumbs up in the comments. If you guys want to see that, by the way, put in the comments below that which one is your favorite spot, just so we can get some engagement, kind of get your feedback. So
Yeah.
curious to see what you may put in the comments as your favorite barbecue spot.
Completely down with this. Only caveat, I'm going to have some sort of a gimbal or something because my hands are going to be so dirty I can't touch my phone.
It's very true. We're going to need like a
Yeah.
selfie stick, Joe. We can kind of keep it like
That's right.
10 feet out in a wide
I think
angle.
we're going to have to bring team members maybe to do the recording, Mike. Because I literally, guys, like, I don't know about you, but I eat with my hands when it's barbecue. So we're going to just go, my face is going to be covered in it. My hands are going to be covered in it. But for you, the audience, I am willing to take that bullet.
He's willing to do it, and it's not just your regular sloppy Joe. He's going all in.
All right. So since we're talking barbecue, do you guys make barbecue at home ever? Do you? What's your dish? Your barbecue dish you make when you're at home if you're not going out to a restaurant?
Wow, we're getting some good comments in here. Kava is not on the barbecue list, but that's one that's more of a healthy option that she's popped in. Chicago Deli and Katz Deli, New York City. So both of those are
okay
in the audience as top top choices. For us at home, we'll eat meat every now and then. Mostly we eat is chicken and fish.
Okay.
So that's most of the time. But when we have made barbecue, most of the time it's ribs. And I like they make a really good dry rub that we can like put on and just kind of like leave it on a hickory chipped smoked like for a really long time to where it's almost falling off the bone at that moment.
Yep.
Oh God, I may not get through this, Joe.
I know. Honest to God, like, guys, guess what? If it's not clear, we're both getting barbecue for lunch after this. Yeah.
And then that's not all. There's there's more. And then on top of that, we have it's a really good mustard sauce. I kind of like that, prefer that a little bit more. But I'll oscillate between the honey mustard and the zinger barbecue.
Okay.
And that's my word, by the way, of the week, zinger. I kind of, I'm feeling zingy today, Joe, talking about barbecue.
I like it. Well, zinger, every time you say it, I immediately think of Zingerman's in Ann Arbor, where my wife is from, which is a popular deli restaurant up there, and good place if you're ever in Ann Arbor. I like to cook. Full disclosure, I really enjoy it. I grew up in a family that owned restaurants, and so for me, I've made barbecue. So one year, I actually did a barbecue Christmas Eve dinner for my family, where I did ribs, I did pulled pork, and I did some of the fixings, mac and cheese, collard greens, and black-eyed peas. And, I mean, by no means, I mean, everybody in the South's probably like, he doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm not presuming to say it was unbelievable, but I enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it. And we're up north, so, we don't have as much of that there. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I do like doing ribs though. I think ribs are fun to do, particularly, with that mustard, yellow mustard to base the rub on, and then kind of go from there. So I do mine Texas style because I just do rub, and I don't do much in the way of sauce. But I have a blast doing it every so often. I probably do ribs maybe twice a year. Usually one time's around the Super Bowl, and then the other time's usually around like the 4th of July. So, but I'm talking myself into it, and I guess this would be a great time, Mike, to shift since we love talking about meat and food and all this other stuff. We're less than 4 weeks to Thanksgiving. Are you guys? Do you guys host Thanksgiving, and are you guys a traditional fixings family, or what do we expect to see on the Thanksgiving menu this year?
Yeah, the Thanksgiving menu every year we do host. So if you're watching and you're part of the family, you're going to be what's on the menu generally. But we do the honey baked ham. We'll kind of like that style of ham and turkey. Deviled eggs are a big thing. Every year it's we try deviating some years and we go back to the regular because they're just so darn delicious, the way that we've made them for years. And when I say we, it's probably more my wife and mom. They're
Yeah.
doing most of the cooking. Actually, mostly my wife. But in general, we have that with the fixings. If we do, when my wife Tammy is from Miami, so she has a lot of Cuban style food and cuisine. So when she
Okay.
makes like beans and has the cilantro and has like, oh man, there's so much like our fricaste de pollo. Like there's certain dishes that are, and I'm like, I could eat that for Thanksgiving. In fact, I could eat that any time of the year.
Yeah.
So if you're ever in Charlotte, Joe, we got to have you guys
Trust me.
over.
I,
Yeah.
I can work something in for networking for sure. So on our end, so we've hosted Thanksgiving the last couple years, in part because 2 years ago our daughter was a newborn, so we couldn't really travel with her, and last year with COVID, we couldn't really travel with her as well. And so, in fact, I think my wife may have just been pregnant, or so it was also a time we couldn't leave. Um, so we've hosted the last couple of years. We're hosting again this year, and so we've had smaller Thanksgiving meals. I've done the turkey. Wouldn't presume to say I do it well. It's not my bird is not my expertise. I'm more of a beef tenderloin guy. I can do the beef tenderloin to perfection, but I give it a shot, and I really love the sides. So my wife loves her mashed potatoes, and then I did a homemade gravy and stuffing last year, which was pretty fun. And the challenge is when you don't have a big Thanksgiving, you don't want to make a ton of food, right? So you're kind of stuck with, if you make all the fixings, then you're like, well, shoot, now I've got too much in the fridge. But we're working through our menu right now, and the nice thing is I do outsource my desserts for Thanksgiving. So we live right down the street from an unbelievable pie place called Bang Bang Pie in
Bang Bang
Logan
Pie.
Square. Yep, it's unbelievable, great place. So if you ever are in Chicago, you definitely want to check it out. They do seasonal pies, and so we usually get a pumpkin pie and an apple pie for Thanksgiving, and kind of work from there. So it's a lot of fun, and I suspect this year we're going to with Addie being a little older now, maybe have her try to help us a little bit. I don't know how much help she can be, but we're going to give it a shot. And on that note, I have one final question on my end that I was asked, and I got to ask you this. So you got
Love
4
it.
kids, and the ages range, so they might not all be doing this. But what are you dressing up your kids for as Halloween?
That's a great question. The 19-year-old at Clemson, he is probably going to be a giant Clemson tiger paw. That would be my guess.
Okay.
Our teenage daughter, 15, she is an aspiring actress. So I think she is going to. She didn't really give us a definitive answer on this, but she says she's going to surprise us by being one of her, like her aspiring actress.
Okay.
Ensued. So I don't know what that means, but a 15-year-old, not sure
Yeah.
really how to interpret that in general. But, that's up for another day.
That's right.
We have a 7 and 4-year-old, and we know what they are absolutely going to be. The 7-year-old is going to be a princess. So she's going to be in Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. So kind of like a princess, but, of Oz, Dorothy character, and then Luke, our youngest. That's also our youngest son, named Luke. I don't know if you knew that until this moment, and he is an aspiring Jedi. So,
Nice. I
like
like
you,
it.
he's in training, and so,
Right.
and then I'm going to be Tiger King.
Oh, there you go. That'll be kind of fun. I like that. And what about Tammy?
How about you, Joe? Oh, Tammy she's going
So-
to be Carol Baskin.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, I think I have to tell you, I might be the only person in America who's not seen The Tiger King. I know the name. I know Carol Baskin. I had never watched an episode of it, but I like it. It's on point. So, with a 12-week-old, there's only so many options, right? You know, there's the pumpkin. There's it's something stationary. Well, so Katie is a great costume, idea person. Last year, Addie was a Portuguese water dog like Nike and Neptune, and she made the costume with our nanny, and that was really fun and cute. This year, though, because Luke is here and Luke's our little Leo lion, we are dressing him up as a lion, and Addie is the lion tamer. She's got the jacket and the hat, and it's gonna be pretty fun. So, Daddy does not have a costume picked out. I think I'm just gonna be walking and kind of doing my thing, and Katie I think is gonna be doing the same this year. But we have quick preview next year. We're talking about doing a DC Universe costume theme. Addie's going to be the Heath Ledger Joker. I'm going to be Batman. Luke will be Robin, and Katie will either be Catwoman or Poison Ivy. So could be kind of fun there. And so yeah, we're I think we're going to save the actual Star Wars stuff a couple years, but I could see Addie with her hair and the buns as Princess Leia. Obviously, Luke is as that, and I would gladly go as Darth Vader. I'm not sure who Katie would want to go as. I teasingly say, she could go as like Emperor Palpatine, but I don't think she'd like that. Certainly, I don't think she'd want to put a Chewbacca mask on, and so I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Maybe Han Solo. Maybe we can figure out a way to make her Han Solo. So
Han Solo? I could see that. Yeah.
That would be kind of fun. But yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got trick-or-treating this weekend, which should be fun. I'm sure you guys do the same on Sunday. And, anybody that comes to our neighborhood, by the way, we got tons of bags of candy. I also, big bar house right here, so you definitely want to hit our house, get those big bars, and we'll go from there. But
when you say big bars, how big are these bars, Joe?
Oh, the full size candy bars,
not like the mega size, like the megaverse, Facebook megaverse. That big.
Definitely not the metaverse. No. We get our candy from Costco, so I usually like to get a box of the big stuff because I like to be popular on the neighborhood for the stuff. And as a realtor, you want to have good relationships. You want to be your neighborhood mayor, and no better way around this time of year than to give the big candy bars. That's how I say. So
I love it, man. I love it.
Well,
I have really enjoyed this, Joe. This has been phenomenal.
Me too. Next Friday, we're on. I'm in. Let's do this.
I'm in. We're going to do it. And Scott and I were going to be on together. He was tied up, but we wanted to jump in and do this today and make it happen. And so glad that we did. And I'm looking forward to barbecue. I'm really kind of curious which one's going to win. I wonder what our audience is going to think, Joe.
That's right. All right. I can't wait to see the suggestions. I will see you next Friday, Mike.
Sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Happy Halloween. See you. Bye.